30 years ago, I graduated Waihī College. I went to Auckland University and studied engineering for another 5 years. And the next 10 years, I was building software. My identity was tied to coding, to building things with code, from taking people's ideas, writing the code, and creating an app or a solution for people. In 2009, Apple released their second iPhone called the iPhone 3G. And that was pretty cool because it gave app developers the ability to sell software to everyone in the world. It was also launched first in New Zealand, so I queued for one for 36 hours on Queen Street. And we had media down there, and my wife is Swedish, and her mother actually saw us in Sweden on TV, which is pretty crazy. My mother-in-law. The first app I built for the iPhone was when comes from my wife again. My wife had a problem in her heart. She was feeling some sort of pain in her chest. So I thought, what any other normal person would do, let's get a microphone, we'll put it onto her chest, we'll record it, and then we'll look at that signal on the TV. Or on a computer screen. But what what came into developing the world's first heart monitor that worked on a mobile phone. I then decided to make an app, take this idea, write the software. You could put the phone on your chest, would hear your heart rate, and it would show you the S1 and the S2 beats, and it would give you a BPM. So you could measure your heart rate. I wanted to measure my resting heart rate in the morning. But then the iPhone store got there were a lot of people, started building apps for the iPhone App Store. And so it got a bit saturated. So then we did a startup with a friend in 2014. And my value in this business was, again, how fast I could write code. We wanted to take ideas very, very quickly. And the quicker I could type code and bang code out and get these ideas over to our salespeople, we could sell them. So for about 7-8 years I did this. And in about 2020, I sort of raised the white flag and said, I'd like to do my next adventure. So I bought a house down here at Waihī Beach and I became a surfer. Now I haven't crossed surfer out because I'm still a surfer, but I have crossed out bad one. Because hopefully I'm not a bad surfer, but after today I feel like a bad surfer. And so now I'm a bit of a solo entrepreneur. I create apps. Again, I still code them. Well, I sort of still code them because things have changed. I call myself a maker now. I believe my identity isn't tied to software anymore because something's changed about that. I believe I'm a maker. And so in November 2025, a company called Anthropic released what was called a model called, that kerning is out. Oh no. A model called Opus 4.5. Now this might sound like gobbledygook to some people, but this AI model all of a sudden could code. It's my job for the last 30 years. I've learnt to code. That my identity is with this coding. And this sort of stole my ability to code. But it didn't steal my ability to create apps. And what I really want to do is create lots of apps. I find value in making things. So if you can now take an idea, or if you have an idea that used to be translated into code to get to the app, you can now do that. You don't need to worry about the code. Using AI, you can just take an idea, you can put it into a command prompt, and we'll show a little bit later of that, and your idea comes out. There is nothing stopping anyone in this room of creating their next app. And I know that sounds absolutely ridiculous, but it's 100% true. Here is an app. Might not look like anything special. It's a grooming time app. We've got a name and an email and a dog and a breed. This person added in dog size because that was actually quite important for the grooming piece. Now, it might not look like much, but this app was made by Fern, and Fern is 9 years old. Think about that. She wanted to start a business. She downloaded Perplexity, and she started making it. So I asked her parents, did you help? She says, no. She built this app herself. So here is a 9-year-old being able to build apps. So if Fern lives on one part of the spectrum, she is 9, what can someone do on the other side with AI that doesn't know how to program? Meet my friend Max. He started a few companies. He's starting his 3rd company now. This company is going to be a laser cutting company. He's bought this machine here. It's about 9 meters long. It's the size of a bus. This thing is huge. It's not even in the country yet. It'll be here in about 3 months. He's got a place to put it, but he wants to power this machine with software. So he started building the software. If you want to make a part, you want to make a bracket for your car, you want to make something out of metal, aluminium, MDF, you need to be able to design it. So he built a designing tool. This tool here is pretty much like AutoCAD. Businesses that make tools like AutoCAD are worth millions, if not billions of dollars. And he's just built it. I must remind you, Max is a mechanical engineer. He has never built an app in his life. So once you've designed your part, you can start adding them into the cart. Don't worry about what the picture is. You can just add a few into the cart and do that. Again, this is vibe coded. He's just talked to the computer. He's never looked at the code. He's just say, let's make a shopping cart. Let's allow people to buy it. This is one of the most impressive pieces, I think. This is called a nesting tool that he's built. So if you've got a lot of parts that you need to make and you want to put them onto a sheet, you've got to pack them in really tightly. And if you pack them in nice and tightly, then you can make more parts. You can charge less for your parts because you can fit more parts onto one sheet. If you take 2 sheets, then you've got to get your forklift. These sheets are incredibly heavy, so you have to get a forklift to lift these sheets up. So you have to handle more sheets. So he's vibe coded this nesting tool. There's an interesting thing that says here, he's got 83% density. I must remind you, Max does not know how to code. And people might say, well, is it really going to work? We've heard about these vibe-coded apps, all these things that they make. They don't really work. But there's something called trust and verify. So we're not sure if we trust the code, but let's verify the output. So what Max also did is when he's generated the code, he's also vibe-coded a 3D laser printer. So this is actually what the laser cutter would look like. And you can actually see, because he doesn't have the machine, you can actually see the machine cutting a piece of aluminium or steel. And so he's testing the output of his tools that he's made. So let's do a live demo. Might not be live. And so for the demo, I thought, what is the biggest problem that the Waihī Beach community faces? And so I looked at the Waihī Beach community page. I assume there's a few people there. And I've looked at the whole history of it, by the way, so it's not the current drama. We're not starting on that. And this drama comes up about at least every week, if not every month. Oh, I skipped it, damn it. Come back. This is the biggest problem our community faces. There is no one that has solved this. I don't understand why no one solved this. Right. So how do you solve this? This is going to be quite interesting. This is Claude Code. There are lots of different tools. I'll show you some of the other tools. This is Claude Code. It looks like some sort of app. And to create the output that I'm going to show you today, all I did is I typed my idea in. I'll just zoom that up a little bit. It's a little bit bigger. I'm going to read that out. I have to read it from here. Sorry for the slideshow karaoke. Hey, Claude, and by the way, we have to be polite when the robot uprising comes. They'll remember who was being polite to us. I want to build an app that tells people if the Karangahape Gorge is open. Use the NZTA website, which has accurate updates about the status of the gorge. Let's make the web page super simple. If the gorge is open, let's display a yes. If it's closed, let's display a huge no. It's pretty straightforward so far. There's no code. There are some other status as well that won't be open or closed because maybe there's maintenance or delays, a few other things like that. And any message likes delays. I'm doing this live for a TEDx talk, so I'm in a bit of a rush. Can you do this quickly and don't ask any questions? The last line's a little bit of a trick. It says, let's host this on Vercel. That's basically when I make this web page, it'll live on my computer, but no one will be able to see it. When I say this one little word, it'll upload it onto the internet to Vercel. Vercel is a free hosting service that you can use. So, I typed this in, if this was a live demo. It took me 5 minutes, 8 seconds. That's how long it thought to solve the problem that this community has faced for such a long time. Then it's uploaded it to the K Gorge. And now if you go to isthegorgeopen.today, you will probably see caution, and that is working right now. That took me 6 minutes. 6 minutes. I want to talk about one other piece of work. So that was vibe coding apps or building apps. I want to talk about co-work. Co-work again is you can download these download these apps to your desktop. This is not ChatGPT or something where you go to a website or Google Gemini and you drag your files into it. The best tools are the ones that you download to your desktop, and they have the ability to see the files on your computer. They can work with those files, and when you reopen that, it knows where it was before. It knows what the current problem was. This is Claude. Claude calls it co-work. OpenAI, or this is Codex. This just calls it projects. You can look at any type of file. You can put images, PDFs, Excel files, bank statements. Very important, bank statements. So I got 10 emails in a row the other day, and they're all bills. Bill, 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 bill. And I'm like, uh-oh, what's going on here? Have I got a few things that I forgot to turn off and not pay for? So I did what any normal person would do. You've heard this before. I exported all my bank statements for the last year. I have 6 accounts. I also exported them all, and I chucked them into that, just dragged and dropped them into this one of these tools, co-work for me. And I also said, why don't you just check my email? So it's going to classify my bank statements and see who they're from. What's the service that they provide me? I haven't showed my wife this too. She's also down the back. So I said, what are the 10 things I need to do? This is really practical advice for everyone, by the way. By the way, I need to fix my mortgage. This is 100% true. I need to fix my mortgage. It's found the lowest interest rate at 4.69%. I also have an overdraft. I didn't know I was paying 9% on. Sorry, darling. So we'll probably need to consolidate that. I need to make a 30-minute phone call. I'm an aggressive user of Claude Code because, again, this runs my business. So it's also said I should stop paying so much for it. I need to talk to my accountant. I'm paying top of a town for my accountant at the moment. So I need to either have a negotiate with my accountant or find another supplier. There's some other software tools that I use. I've turned one of those off. And sometimes, actually, I can make some of these tools now because I can think what these tools solve for my life. Total potential savings is 11,200. This took me 10 minutes. 10 minutes. That's real. I'm going to do that. So we talked about our community. We talked about the businesses. We talked about being a little bit more effective. If you're a volunteer or helping in an organisation doing some of the mahi, these tools make your work exceptionally easy. An example I had before is I downloaded the last 12 years, financial year 25, downloaded the transactions, automatically classified them, and then went to the Charities New Zealand website. Financial charities and incorporated societies must submit their financial data in a certain format, all classified. 10 minutes later, I've got that data that I can fill now to our charities website. So if you're working maybe the financial side, here's a very powerful tool. You will look like a genius. If you, hopefully it's correct, by the way. Please check it. And if you're a secretary of a club, some of the work that we've done recently is I exported all our WhatsApp chat messages. I took all the emails from Cindy Clare, and we will very quickly be able to make agendas for some very important events that are held in our community. And again, made me look like a genius because here's everything that we've talked about in order, in priority, ready to go. And our meetings are incredibly efficient to run interesting events like this. So if you want to do this, stop using ChatGPT, which is on the website. Stop using the Gemini. These don't give you the power. They don't give the power of putting these tools on your desktop and making your ideas possible. The tools you can use are Claude Code. I've talked a bit about that. OpenAI has something called Codex. Google has something called anti-gravity. And the reason it has a star is because it's free. Perplexity has a tool called Desktop, and there's a more nerdy one for anyone that's a bit into programming called Cursor. But they're all the same thing. They'll make your ideas come to life. So if you have an idea, there is nothing stopping you creating it. All you need to do, as you saw from me, is just create a talk to the robot, as my wife says. And you will get an app, which you can constantly change. It's very simple. Thank you very much.